Hi, Marilyn O'Hearn here today talking about how to move past the paralysis of perfectionism to reap rewards. Perfectionism, that's really not too much to ask, is it? Hopefully you're smiling or laughing at that, knowing it is impossible, and yet also recognizing its power. And it really is a big potential blocker. So, how does perfectionism impact us? It can result in number one, paralysis and procrastination. So, just think about what books, piece of art, inventions might not have ever happened. We might not be enjoying them today if the originators had been waiting for the perfect time, the perfect idea, the perfect image. We just simply have to start sometimes, right? And see what happens, to throw it out there and to experiment and trust the process. So that's number one. Perfectionism can result in paralysis and procrastination. And number two, it can result in overcriticism of self and others. So criticizing self plus negative thoughts can equal depression or contribute to depression. And then overcriticizing others, that can be your family members, your employees, can result in them walking out. A worst case scenario, right? And that is really costly emotionally to the system, and in the workplace, talent loss, we know the cost of that. And number three, it can result in stress symptoms. If we're trying to be perfect, then that can show up physically in stress and emotionally as well. And finally, it can lead to eating disorders. If we're trying to look perfect, then that can lead to an eating disorder, which can, at worst case scenario, lead to death. So how do we go for our best self and results rather than perfectionism and reap the rewards? Well, first I want to pause and give two quotes about perfectionism. And one is from Ann Wilson Schaaf. Trying too hard and never trying at all are two sides of the coin of perfectionism, and unfortunately, it's a coin that never pays off. And then Salvador Dali, have no fear of perfection, you will never reach it. So, we're looking at how to go for best self rather than perfectionism and reap the rewards. And so when you catch yourself in those perfectionistic thoughts, negative thoughts, then ask yourself, number one, is this a reasonable expectation of myself or others? And check it out. And if it's not, make some adjustments. Number two, if someone else told you they were thinking these thoughts, then what would your response be? Hopefully it would be something of encouragement. So practice that with yourself and others when you catch yourself having those perfectionistic thoughts. And number three, a la Byron Katie, ask yourself, is this thought or this perfectionistic thought 100% true, useful, productive, helpful? And if not, again, make some adjustments. And finally, number four, am I striving for my personal best, which is attainable, or for perfectionism, which is unattainable? And then once you've clarified that and made the necessary adjustments, ask yourself, what's the first step? I know as a writer and author of a book that if you don't just start writing, it's never going to happen. It's not going to be perfect at first, and that's not what you're striving for. You're striving to get the book out, and then afterwards you go through and edit, edit, edit. Okay. So remember that you are more than your performance and your appearance. So there's a quote that's been attributed to Mandela and also Marianne Williamson, and it is, "You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't save or serve the world." And the second point here that I invite you to consider is based on Gottman's research with married couples, but I think we can apply it also to the workplace. So Gottman discovered in his research that happy couples give 20 positive comments for every negative. So what would happen if we put that into practice? And the danger zone is when it falls to below 5 positive comments for every negative. So check yourself out on that. How many positive comments are you giving to your partners in the workplace and at home, and to yourself? That counts too. So I hope this has given you some food for thought about the paralysis of perfection and how to overcome that, to reap rewards. And I invite you to set up a strategy session with me, an unlock potential strategy session, and where we can explore this further. And I look forward to seeing your comments as well. Thank you.